Hello everyone, this is a group project for the system analysis and design, and the team members are Amulya Shankar, Anusha Takkars and Padma Deepika Annambhotla, and the narrator Sandeep Ramesh. The group, first we're going to have the outline, which mainly consists of the business focus. In that we will talk about the introduction, current system, as in systems, the problems that we have and the goals. Then we have the SDLC, that is software design life cycle, in which the planning phase, the analysis phase, the design phase, and finally the implementation phase, and then the conclusion. To talk about the business focus, we have got the project which is the web-based accommodation system, in which we are designing a web-based accommodation system which onlinely manages the resorts management system. This develops a website for the customer to easily view the list of resorts based on the selected location. The online system maintains a list of resorts, in which it also has a list of manually functioning resorts as well as the online resorts. When we say a manually functioning resorts, in case if the resort is not in the list of the popular resorts, or if that particular resort does not has a website of its own, we are trying to gather that resorts as well and put it in our list. By that, we are making it easy for the users or the customer to access both the resorts. Now, this is the current system that is in place. The current system maintains a website that maintains a list of only online booking resorts. Nowadays, all the hotels or all the online resorts have only online booking sites, in which the most popular resorts or the one which has websites of their own, it is listed. But in our proposed system, we will have the offline resorts as well. Talking about the current system, if the guest goes into a hotel and he checks in with the clerk, and the clerk, if he has availability in his hotel or the resorts, he will allocate a room for that particular guest. In case if he doesn't has, he will forward the guest or he will advise the guest to find a new one. Okay, this is very frustrating and this is very painful. So our system will take care of that problem, and it lists all the available rooms or available resorts. In the next phase of the system development life cycle, we have the planning phase, in which the planning phase comprises of the main tasks such as gathering information, defining goals, why the proposed system is better than the current system. It talks about the as it is system, identifying the problem in the current system, propose an alternative, and the feasibility study. Basically, in this planning phase, we plan what are all the system that is required, we analyze the requirements that we have gathered, and we propose a system which is better than the current one. Talking about further into the planning phase, we have the system alternatives. What are all the other system that is there currently that we can do before ours? One is phone a friend. If you want to go for a particular destination and if you want to find a resort, you can either phone your friend, you could take an advice from him, which is very good. He will give you all the advices, but as I told you, there are benefits and a drawback. The benefits is you get the information at your fingertips. All you need to do is dial a number and he'll give you the information. The drawback is many friends are there, difference of opinion arises, each friend will have different opinions. One might say that this is good, this is wrong. You can't call each and every friend. So we're gonna eliminate this particular alternative. Then is the advertisements. You can go for the TV or mass media, newspapers, anyone, and find out whichever the particular resort is very good in that particular destination. As I said, the benefits is it is easily accessible. Nowadays mass media is very common. You can find it easily. Then the drawback is you can't totally rely on those particular facts that is gathered, and also the destination is limited based on the popularity. Even the mass media will work on the popularity of that particular resorts. So even we are dropping this. So to overcome all these drawbacks, we have proposed our system, which is much more stable than these two, which will clearly overcome the drawbacks and make sure that it gives maximum benefits. The next phase of the planning phase is the feasibility study, wherein we gather the technical feasibility, the operational feasibility, and the economic feasibility. When we talk about the technical feasibility, we are talking about what are all the technologies that we need to input into our system so that it will match the current system which is in place. When we talk about the technologies, which is like what are all the development tools that is required for the new system, to what are all the performance that it is required, what is the cost that is generated, what is the technical analysis that we need to do, all comes under the technical feasibility. The operational feasibility, when that particular system is in place, it shouldn't hamper the current system that is already working. It should cope up with the current system as well, and it should give a maximum output. It shouldn't spoil the current system that is already in place. It should easily gel and it should produce a maximum throughput. That is what the operational feasibility is there. Economics feasibility, as the word says, it should be less expensive. This new system, after implementation or during the implementation, it shouldn't consume a lot of money, or it shouldn't be a burden, or it shouldn't turn out to be more than what the present system is there. This new system or new feature should be less economic as possible as it is. So keeping all those factors in mind, we have came up with a new system. Then comes the analysis phase. In this analysis phase, we mainly concentrate on gathering the requirements of the analysis techniques. We mainly concentrate on the business project improvement. First thing is, duration analysis was the first BPI technique to be implemented. When we say duration, we just mention what is the people, or we mainly calculate the people who recently visited the resorts, or we take their reviews into consideration. So how long did they stay on that particular resorts? That is what duration means. Then the next phase is problem analysis, which is the next BPI technique to be implemented. In this problem analysis, we mainly calculate what are the small problems that might arise in our new system, and what are all the scope of improvements that we can do, and what are all the questions that we can tackle when we have any problems. These are all the problem analysis that we do when in this phase. Then comes the business process engineering and this business process automation. We found that these two techniques are not relevant or not worth implementing in our technique or in our tool, so we eliminate these two phases. So our main concentration was based on business project improvement. Okay, in under business project improvement, we have duration analysis and problem analysis. So moving along, we have in analysis phase, we have requirements determination techniques. What are all the requirements that we had to gather? Firstly, there are two phases in which we did the requirement analysis. The first phase was the interview phase, wherein we actively try to communicate with the with the guys who already own a resorts. To be precise, like we did approach two main resorts owners, such as Dazen and Suites and the Super 8. I really thank for the owners who pulled out their time and gave us an opportunity to interview them, wherein we could ask all our doubts. We basically followed a top-down approach for this, wherein we randomly put questions for clarifying all our doubts, or to know more about the current system that is already in place. We asked both the open-ended question and the close-ended questions with an intention to grab as much as information from them. So the main intention was to know the current system which is already in place. Then the second phase was the feedback phase. In the feedback phase, we actively gathered the information that is from the users who had already visited those particular resorts. We actively gathered or accumulated their feedback. Based on their feedback, we also proposed the resorts for the guests or the new customers. There were new destinations wherein new destinations did not have more popular resorts. To find out the resorts in that particular destination, we mainly relied on the feedback of the guests who had visited to that particular destination. So this played out to be an important aspect for our requirements gathering techniques, wherein our main task was based on the feedback. Then comes the design phase. In the design phase, we have the tasks such as use case generation, data flow, ER diagram, architectural specification design, and interface structural design and data storage design. So in this phase, we mainly concentrated on the software and hardware requirements that comprises of the structural design. What are all the software features that is required, or the hardware things that is required for us to develop this particular tool? Coming into the use case diagram, we have a use case in which at the first one, which shows admin. When an admin is in charge of creating a tool, he has an option to add a location and then view a location. He can add a location based on the user's feedback. Whosoever is the user who has visited to that particular place, he can provide their valuable feedback. Based on those feedback, an admin can add a location. Based on that location or based on that particular input, he can also take those inputs about the resorts that those guests have visited, and he can add those resorts in his particular website. So when a guest or when a user logs into that home page, The user can not only find a list of resorts that are most popular in that particular destination, he can also find the resorts which are not so popular but which are very good based on the user's feedback or the previous user's feedback. The main task was take an existing portal or take an existing system which lists all the set of hotels or all the set of most popular hotels, add an overlay in such a way that it also lists the not so popular hotels which do not have an online system to book a resort or book a room in that particular hotel. What did we do here? We actively collected the feedback from the user. We took those feedbacks and we put those hotels in our system, wherein when a user logs in, when he tries to find a location, when he picks his location of his choice, he will not only find a hotel which is most common, but he also finds the hotel which is which happens to have which happens to not have an online portal for that as well. In which a hotel that does not have an online portal, we also list that hotel. And how to communicate? We have their telephone numbers or the person to contact, whom to contact. By using those details, the guest can actively call those particular hotels and make a reservation by himself. So by doing this, we are giving more number of options to a particular guest and not limiting him for only the most popular resorts. There are resorts in which although they don't have an online portal, they are very good in functioning. So we try to list those hotels as well. In the second one, you can see in this second use case diagram, a user is trying to book a hotel. He'll book a hotel, he'll go to the homepage, he'll book a hotel, he can invite a guest, he can go to his portal, he can change his password, he can view his profile, he can update his membership, everything. Okay, so we are giving us dedicated access to a user as well, which is controlled by an admin. So this was the use case diagram. Then comes the data flow diagram. In the data flow diagram, the first one you can see this is the web-based accommodation system. When we say that this is a web-based accommodation system, everything is done on the online. Okay, what do we have in this system? We have a location info which gives a list of all the location. Then we have a units info. Based on that particular location or based on a user's input of a location, we list the number of resorts that is there. And if that particular resort has an online portal or an online option to reserve a room, we will go ahead further, wherein we'll take him for a reservation. We go for a booking information. Once the booking information is confirmed, we take the guest information. Once the guest is guest produced all his information, all his credit card details, everything, we give him a reservation. This works if a resort has online booking available at their hotel. In case if that particular resort does not have an online booking, we just display that particular resort's details or map or the route, everything for that particular resorts. The user can make use of those details and contact the resort directly for an accommodation. Through this, we try to minimize the overhead. Then comes the entity relationship. Here the entity relationship is many to many, in which one location or many location can have many resorts, or one location can have many resorts. This is what we have tried to plot in here, wherein the first one is location ID. The units gives the number of resorts that is there in that particular location. So this talks about the entity relationship diagram. Then comes the architectural specification. Under design phase, this is also one of the most important phase, which tells you what are all the system software features, what are all the hardware features, what are all the system users, who are the guys who are mainly actively participating in this, what are all the technical requirements. When we say software features, it manages the entire list of resorts that is there or that is available to the user based on that location. Then comes the display. When we maintain all the list, we need a system to display that as well. Then again, that is also a software feature. Then we need a suitable resources for that to control. Then that is the hardware, wherein we have certain systems like which are data servers, card readers, everything. And then the users are administrator, customers, or visitor. Administrators are the guys who control the backend system. Customers are the one who actively visit with their user credential. There might be some every now and then visitors who just check out the details of the hotels. Then we have the next phase in the design implementation is a system interface. This is an interface that is already in place. This is a system that is already in place. In the first diagram, you can see a portal wherein it allows a user to log in and an admin to log in. Once he logs in the second one, it gives an option to select the destination. Once it gives an option to select a destination, it lists the available hotels or resorts that is there in that particular location. If that hotel or the resort has an option to book it through online, it will take him through the online booking. In case if it doesn't has, it gives a list of information of that particular hotel along with the feedback of many users. When we say a list of information, the information might include the particular route for that particular area, the contact details of that particular resort, along with the contact information. So all these information will be listed in this system. This makes it easy for the user to communicate the hotel and directly look into for the booking. We tried to put this system in place. The main reason was we tried to implement both the resorts, which has an online feature as well as an offline feature. That was the main intention here. Then comes the data storage design. This is also under the design phase, in which we have a separate master file for the admin and the entity relationship, which provides a specific details for all data that is stored in the system. So this talks about the data storage design, wherein we have all the masters which is concentrated in one particular file for the resort information, and then we have all the entity relationship that talks with each other and communicates to make sure that every destination has particular resorts, every location has particular resorts that is there in that particular location only. Then we have the implementation phase. This is the final phase of the system development lifecycle, in which we try to implement the proposed system. There are many considerations that we have to keep in mind while in this phase, because whatever the system that we have developed till now, we have to implement it and make sure that the current system is not hampered while our system is implemented. This phase includes the implementation, the plan for transition, and the maintenance. The first phase in plan for implementation, in this phase we plan how to implement this system on an already working current system. And once it's done, how does the transition takes place? How do we migrate from a current system to a new system? And how do we maintain? Because we have added a new feature on an already existing system. What are all the maintenance features that we have to look into it? All these things are considered in this particular phase. Finally, what we try to conclude is the main goal of this project was to bring out a new system which is better than the current one, because nowadays we have a user or an online portal, many hotel portal or hotel booking online web portals, wherein they normally consider most popular most popular resorts which is there in one particular location. So you have to, me as a user or you as a user, you have to pick only of those which is there in their website. Even if there are many other hotels which are better than the one on their website, you're not given an option to choose. Only the reason is either that particular hotel does not have an online booking or due to other reason. The main intention of this project was to list out even all those offline hotels as well along with the existing online hotel and give an option to the user to decide for him based on the feedback and based on the reviews of the hotel management and other guys. So this project mainly targets on accumulating all those data. Hope this project liked or you guys liked it. We'll be looking for your project as well. Thank you for your time. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.